I have a problem if we don't.
Yeah.
Like, just because Trump thought of it, I'm not against it. Something that would stop the increasing number of rogue missiles that are in this world from maybe coming over here and incinerating me. Yeah, mark me down as a pro for that. I'm pro having, now, can we do it? I don't know. And the ballroom, I don't give a shit. I really don't give a shit. I was reading, it shows you like how the media is. Everything is always on one side or the other. When he's first mentioned it, it was like all about, oh my God, he's desecrating the White House. Then I finally read, oh, well, you know, they've done to the White House before. It's just a building.
Bill Maher and Bill O'Reilly just dropped a truth bomb about why deep blue states are starting to turn red. And it's nothing short of shocking. Honestly, I never thought I'd live to see the day this happened. But here we are. And it looks like that day has finally arrived. Listen closely as these two seasoned political heavyweights break down exactly how Donald Trump is winning over even the most hardcore liberals who once swore they'd never shift an inch. Let's dive in.
Trump wants to build a new missile defense system called the Golden Dome. Ah, yes, I read about this. That could cost hundreds of billions of dollars. Is that a good use of money?
Well, I mean, look, he's building, he wants to build an arch on the mall. You know, he's building a place he can dance at the White House and do the YMCA. He's going to do that there. And he wants to build a dome. I mean,
you got to protect the dance hall.
True. By the way, I'm very excited. I'm very excited. You know, when the Democrats take the White House in 28, when we have the ballroom, you know, the Pride Month in February is gonna be great in that ballroom.
So you see how the Democrats are reacting to Trump's decision to build a ballroom inside the White House. To many of them, it's not just a renovation; it's a desecration. They've been quick to frame it as yet another example of Trump turning a historic institution into his personal playground. Jared Moskowitz, a Democrat, even mocked it by saying, "Trump just wants a place to dance the YMCA dance." The remark drew laughter across social media, but Bill Maher wasn't laughing. He fired back with a sharp, cutting response that flipped the joke right back on them. Maher pointed out that the outrage says more about the Democrats' obsession with Trump than it does about the ballroom itself. His reaction perfectly captures the growing frustration among moderates who are tired of the left's reflexive, performative outrage over everything Trump does. Take a listen to Maher's fiery comeback. It's classic Maher, witty, brutal, and completely unfiltered.
I have a problem if we don't.
Yeah.
Like, just because Trump thought of it, I'm not against it. Something that would stop the increasing number of rogue missiles that are in this world from maybe coming over here and incinerating me. Yeah, mark me down as a pro for that. I'm pro having, now, can we do it? I don't know. You know, I read, you know, he says it'll take 3 years and 180 billion, and they say, well, that's it's going to take, whatever it is. Of course, everything is over scheduled and never comes in on time or on budget.
Maher didn't hold back as he blasted the DNC for their knee-jerk opposition to anything that comes from Trump. According to him, Democrats have reached a point where if Trump says rain is wet, they'll claim it's dry simply because he said it. Maher highlighted how the left refuses to acknowledge any good in Trump's ideas, even when those ideas could genuinely benefit the country. He pointed to Trump's proposed Golden Dome, a missile defense system designed to shield the U.S. from foreign attacks. Instead of evaluating it on merit, Maher noted that Democrats instantly dismissed it solely because it carried Trump's name. But Maher wasn't done. In the next clip, he shifted to the so-called ballroom controversy, and things got fiery fast. His response didn't just roast the critics, it exposed how political obsession has blinded many to basic common sense.
But that's, to me, a worthy thing. And the ballroom, I don't give. I really don't give. I was reading, it shows you like how the media is. Everything is always on one side or the other. When he's first mentioned it, it was like all about, oh my God, he's desecrating the White House. Then I finally read, oh, well, you know, they've done to the White House before. It's just a building, I think. Also, like, I realized after reading other people, we don't have a place when they have state dinners. They're doing it in a tent. This is America. So do I give it that he's doing this to the White House? I really don't.
And here's the interesting part. Those massive event tents at the White House aren't cheap. During Obama's presidency, renting a temporary tent for a major event reportedly cost well over $1 million for just a single night. So it actually makes far more financial sense to build something permanent, like a ballroom that can be used for years without the constant setup, teardown, and rental fees. It's practical, it's elegant, and it ultimately saves taxpayers money. But of course, the DNC still has a problem with it. Instead of acknowledging the logic, they immediately criticize it simply because it's Trump's idea. And that's exactly what Maher was calling out: the Democrats' refusal to recognize basic common sense whenever Trump is involved, even when the plan is clearly more cost-effective and beneficial for future administrations.
Look, he raised the money privately.
Yeah, and it's private money.
You know, and if Newsom wants to knock it down when he's president, then he can knock it down, right?
Save your ire for the things that matter.
That's right.
You
But they don't know what matters.
Well,
you know as well as I do
I don't give a shit.
that the media is not in the business any longer of reporting what matters. It's not. They make their money either hating or loving Donald Trump.
Yeah.
That's where the cash register is. What matters doesn't matter to them.
Okay.
O'Reilly hits the nail right on the head. The media today doesn't really care about facts anymore. It's all about clicks, ratings, and outrage. According to him, most outlets operate on a simple formula: either rage bait their audience or cozy up to Trump for attention. There's no middle ground, no nuance, no real effort to get to the truth. Instead of taking the time to investigate, verify, or provide balanced reporting, they rush to publish whatever story will drive engagement, and boost ad revenue. Facts have become secondary to feelings, and truth has taken a back seat to traffic. O'Reilly argues that this toxic cycle is exactly why so many Americans have lost trust in the mainstream press. Journalism has shifted from informing the public to manipulating emotions, creating a media landscape that thrives on division instead of delivering facts.
Do you think that Mamdani's election will lead more financial organizations to leave New York City for Wall Street South in Florida? Tell me, I've read that term just recently, Wall Street South, Florida. This is your state. What is that?
A lot of Wall Street guys have moved to Palm Beach. It's been happening really since COVID. It's accelerated with increases in taxes. It's not just out of New York. It's New Jersey, Connecticut, it's Chicago, it's California.
So they're fleeing high tax blue states for
Look,
Florida. And
this is the luckiest guy in the world that Mamdani got elected, because his district is going to explode. My house, I live 8 miles outside of Queens, has gone up 20% in value since Mamdani announced. Okay?
Because
people aren't going to pay the punishing taxes. New York is the highest tax state in the union.
But you said your house value's gone up.
Yeah, because they're moving to Nassau County.
Oh, they're moving out of the city.
Out of the city, and they can still take the train back in the city and not pay the millionaire's tax or whatever crazy thing this guy wants.
Well, now that Mamdani is officially in office, it's time to move past all the speculation, commentary, and endless predictions, and finally see what he's actually capable of delivering. The theories, the debates, the campaign narratives, none of that matters anymore. From this point forward, his actions will speak far louder than any promise he made on the trail, and voters will judge him based on results, not rhetoric. If he leans too aggressively into socialist-style policies, he risks alienating moderates, independents, and the growing number of Democrats who are tired of ideological extremes. That kind of misstep could easily shift the political momentum toward Trump and the GOP as the election season approaches. But if Mamdani plays his cards wisely, governing effectively, focusing on practical solutions, staying aligned with core democratic principles, and actually earning genuine goodwill from ordinary Americans, then the DNC could enter the 2028 race in a much stronger, more unified position. His performance over the coming months won't just shape his own political future, it could also redefine the direction, tone, and identity of the Democratic Party itself. Whether he becomes a stabilizing force or ends up as yet another polarizing figure will depend entirely on the choices he makes now. One thing's certain, the next chapter of his leadership will reveal whether Mamdani is a true unifier or simply another divisive player in an already fractured political landscape.
But what people don't understand is he can't raise the taxes unless the state okays it, and the state is not going to okay it. So this is just smoke and mirrors. And the younger people who voted for him, they don't understand that. They don't know what seizing the means of production is, but Ken Griffin does. He's the big Wall Street titan. He knows what it is, and that's why he's down in Palm Beach.
We'll see if they move. I mean, you saw Bill.
They're going to move.
Well, look,
they're already moving.
Hold on, Bill Ackman
No,
threatened.
they're not.
Hold on.
People say they're going to move all the time after elections.
listen.
They don't do it.
Bill Ackman said he was going to move.
You know how many people moved out of New York City in the last 3 years? 600,000.
O'Reilly firmly believes that the recent wave of people fleeing New York is directly connected to Mamdani's election as mayor. And honestly, he might be on to something. If Mamdani actually follows through on the sweeping, hardline promises he made during his campaign, like dramatically increasing taxes on millionaires, imposing aggressive wealth redistribution measures, and even attempting to seize or reorganize production lines in the name of economic equality, it could spark a mass exodus eerily similar to what California experienced under Gavin Newsom's leadership. The reality is simple. Wealthy residents and major businesses don't stay in places where they feel hunted or punished for their success. They don't wait around to see how bad things can get. They pack their bags, relocate their headquarters, and move their money to states with friendlier tax structures, fewer burdensome regulations, and governments that actually want them to stay. O'Reilly argues that if this kind of economic flight accelerates, it could cripple New York's financial ecosystem, shrinking the tax base, reducing job opportunities, and deepening the divide between political elites who push utopian policies and the working-class residents who suffer the fallout. If Mamdani isn't extremely careful, his so-called progressive experiment could end up dragging New York straight into a full-blown financial crisis, one the city may not be able to easily recover from.
People move in America, and you're right.
No, but they're not moving because they want a better view. They like to keep more of their money
yes,
that
that's
they
true.
earn.
Yeah, you know, that's true.
Look, Florida is a really good case study. So when DeSantis became governor, there were 250,000 more registered Democrats in Florida when he became governor 8 years ago. Now there's 1.4 million more registered Republicans in Florida. That's all migration from COVID and re-registration from COVID, 100%.
Right.
So it absolutely is happening. Whether they will abandon New York in droves, I mean, Bill Ackman's a really good example. He said he was going to leave, right? He's been going after Mamdani. He spent a lot of money on him. And then the day Mamdani won, he said, I'm willing to talk and sit down and work with you. That doesn't sound like he's packing
Well,
his
it's not
bags.
everybody, but look, if you're a person in New York City earning $150,000, okay, that's a lot of money for most people in the United States. That's nothing in New York City. 150K doesn't get you very much.
Right.
It gets you In-N-Out burgers.
And that's the absolute truth. The real problem is that things are only going to get worse under Mamdani's leadership, especially with the new wave of taxes he's gearing up to unleash. And let's be honest, nobody is leaving because of COVID anymore. It's been nearly 5 years since the pandemic ended. No one is uprooting their family or shutting down their business over something that far in the past. What's driving people out now is pure economic pressure. High taxes, suffocating regulations, and endless layers of bureaucracy have already gutted California, forcing thousands of residents and major corporations to flee to states like Texas and Florida. O'Reilly believes New York is marching down that same dangerous path. And he's probably right. When you make it harder for businesses to grow and for citizens to actually keep the money they earn, they'll simply take their jobs, their investments, and their tax dollars somewhere else. If Mamdani doesn't rethink his entire approach, New York could easily end up suffering the same fate as California, bleeding people, businesses, and opportunity until there's nothing left but regret.
The working people at a certain level are going to say, I'm going to the congressman's state because there's no state tax there. There's no local tax there. I get to keep more of my money. This isn't complicated.
Well, I I've looked at moving because I'd like to keep more of my money too. And
where should Maher move?
I'm not moving anywhere. I'm not moving anywhere.
No?
No.
You're going to stay?
And the taxes here are ridiculous, but it's still Southern California.
If you were to ask Bill Maher where he might relocate if he ever decided to pack up and leave California, what state do you think he should choose? Drop your thoughts in the comments below because this is a question worth debating. Maher has openly acknowledged that California's tax burden has spiraled completely out of control. He frequently talks about how residents are slammed with sky-high marginal tax rates that leave people wondering what on earth they're actually getting in return for handing over so much of their income. On top of that, Maher has repeatedly blasted the state's enormous and tangled bureaucracy. From agonizing permit delays to layers of confusing regulations governing construction, businesses, and even basic personal projects, he says the red tape isn't just annoying, it's actively stifling. Simple tasks become drawn-out battles, and progress in any area feels like wading through quicksand. So if Maher ever decides he's had enough and chooses to move, it won't be about chasing prettier scenery or warmer weather. It would be about lowering his tax burden, escaping suffocating bureaucracy, and finding a state where he can live, work, and operate creatively without constantly fighting government obstacles. The real question is, which state checks all those boxes?
Do you think Vance or Rubio has a better chance at winning in 2028? Well, they got to wrestle the nomination away from Trump, which is probably not going to happen. Well, I mean, who knows?
You know, it's a totally different country.
What?
In 2028 than it is now. Totally different country next year. These nitwits on television, oh, this is a harbinger of the midterms. You know how many things are going to change in the next 12 months?
Democrats are going to kill in the midterms for the same reason they killed this week. Democrats are going to wipe.
Depends. It depends. It depends if the prices come down.
Well, it's not just the prices.
Oh,
it's just,
that's the big one.
it's the perception that the people who get into power are always drunk with power. This administration's also just drunk.
I really don't understand why Maher seems so fixated on the idea that Trump won't give up power in the next election. He keeps raising the alarm as if the outcome is already decided, and it's starting to feel a bit overblown. O'Reilly, on the other hand, offers a calmer perspective. He reminds Maher that a lot can change in just a year or two. Political landscapes are never static, and predictions this early are often unreliable. After all, we're only a year into Trump's administration, and judging the long-term trajectory or speculating about future elections at this stage is premature. History has shown that political momentum can shift quickly, public opinion can swing, and unexpected events can completely alter the conversation. O'Reilly's point is simple but important. Patience and perspective are key. It's too early to call the shots, and obsessing over hypotheticals doesn't serve anyone. In short, Maher's obsession with Trump refusing to leave office seems premature. O'Reilly wisely points out that a lot can change in a year or two, and we're only a year into Trump's administration. Jumping to conclusions now ignores the fluid nature of politics. Patience, perspective, and time will reveal how things truly unfold. And on this note, we draw the curtain on today's video. If you enjoyed it, then hit the like button and subscribe to this channel for more videos like this. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next.